बहुशाखीयन्तस्य. What is next? मी विसरलो बरोबर. व्यवसायिका बुद्धि एकेह गुरुनंदना बहुशाखीयन्तस्य बुद्धयो व्यवसायिना. ये पारायण करने के लिए है श्लोक. So we are studying Nishkama Karma Yoga, detached work without reaction. So this is the favorite verse of Prabhupada of Vyavasayika Buddhi. And Prabhupada says that I have established the whole movement based on this particular verse. Further, Krishna is talking about there are many unintelligent people who are followers of Vedas. Basically, they are not intelligent, they have not studied the Vedas, but then they are themselves concocting from the Vedas. So there are unintelligent people who are followers of Vedas, or they have heard from someone, or they randomly speculated something. Like there was this story which comes. There was a lady. There was a marriage, and in that marriage there was a ritual to catch a cat in the house and keep the cat under the basket. And you should keep a lot of flowers in the cat basket. That was the ritual. Mir, can you show your face? Mir. So it was happening from long time, many generations. Thank you, Hare Krishna. It was happening from many generations. So one day, suddenly some intelligent lady in that house asked this question: why are we doing this? What is this ritual? And then they tried finding out. That whole night they were discussing how this particular ritual came. So there was a grandmother in the house, the great grandmother was also there in the house. So they asked her, मेरे सास ने किया. Suddenly one intelligent man came and said, why, you know why that happened? Because that cat was doing a lot of mischief in that marriage. So that lady in the house, the senior lady, she caught the cat, put her in the basket on the top of her, and the flowers were kept. And then later on everybody thought, हर बहू ने सोचा कि यही जनरेशन हमारा जनरेशन से आया हुआ परंपरा है फूल का. So there are many things like that in this world. Many rituals people do, which does not have a support of Vedas or scriptures, or maybe that is concocted, that is speculated. So that's not a right thing. So there are people who are not the perfect followers of Vedas. They are called unintelligent people. So verse number 42, 43 together. Yamimam pushpita vacham pravadanta vipashchitah vedavadarata partha nanyadasti vadinah कामात्मनः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदां क्रिया विषय बहुलां भोगैश्वर्य गतिं प्रति. May you please read the translation. Mir, can you please read the translation?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, sir.
Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of Vedas, which recommended various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets. Results, good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this.
So currently I am teaching Bhakti work. In that there is a verse which comes in the second chapter, which clearly mentions that those who are worshippers of Krishna, those who are following Krishna consciousness, are intelligent people. Like Prabhupada many times say that there are people who follow Krishna consciousness are most intelligent people. That comes from Srimad Bhagavatam second chapter, first and the second chapter. So here specifically men of a small knowledge, Prabhupada is translating like that. So when Prabhupada is translating that, that means that person is unintelligent, is not a very intelligent person, he is a fool. And why he is called fool? Because he, instead of worshipping Krishna through Vedas, what is the conclusion of Vedas? Rohit, worship what? Is that the conclusion of Vedas? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. बचपन से यही आंसर है. Who is Krishna? Krishna is the Supreme. Who is the Supreme Lord? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Yes, Vedesha Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo. Krishna says that to know, what one should know? That I am the essence of Vedas. Or the essence of Vedas is to know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, those people who derive this conclusion out of Vedas are the most intelligent people. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But unfortunately, what is happening? Why these people are called unintelligent? Because they are not worshipping Krishna, but through Vedas, they are what they are deriving sense gratification. So, Kamatmana Swargapara Jarma Karma Phalapradam. These are the words which come in the second verse, 43, which says that people are desiring material opulences and sense enjoyment. Kamatmana Swargapara, and they are desiring what's heavenly planets. So, because of the desire of heavenly planet, because of the desire of sense gratification, because of the desire of enjoying this material world or material opulences. So, this word Bhoga Aishwarya, which comes in this verse, that also indicates that this is what people are desiring. And this is why they are desiring, because this word is also very important. Veda Vadarata Pushpitam Vacham. These words are also very important. So those people, they have studied Vedas, but unfortunately, what is Veda? Veda is nothing but a flowery word. What do you understand by the flowery word? Pushpitam Vacham is flowery words. What is the meaning of flowery words?
Something sounds very nice.
Yeah, something very, very nice, very soft, very pleasing, right? And it tells you that if you do this particular worship, you will get a lot of enjoyment. If you do this yagya, you will get this. If you do this puja, you will get beautiful wife. If you do this, that, so many things. Rose must have done. So after doing this thing, you will get a lot of sense enjoyment, material opulences. You will get swarga, bhoga, aishwarya, swarga para, kama, your sense enjoyment will be satisfied. And that's why people go and follow Vedas. So, Veda is something, we always say, if we are going to study that also further, when Krishna is speaking, Veda is like a net, jal hai wo, janjal. Where somebody is caught into it, it's very difficult to come. Because everything, like, Shani dosh hai, Pitru dosh hai, or there is Skala Sarpa dosh, so many things. We go, right, for those pujas. Or there are so many opportunities given, or so many facilities given, where you get, like, you have illness, you will say there is a solution. Something is there in the Veda, solution is there. If you want something you want Aishwarya, there is some solution. If you want relief from anxiety, there is a solution. So there is a solution given. So people find that as a very pleasing. And then people do yagya, tapasya for that particular thing, and they do not stop the solution. Or they do not eradicate the solution completely. They postpone the solution. They postpone the problem. Like, if you go to any astrologer will tell you that, ye karo, anguti pehno, kala, nila, pila, jo kuch bhi anguti pehno. And after wearing that anguti, what will happen? Your problems will go. That's what he will say. So what you have done, you have postponed, you have told the problem, next life, not this life. Let me enjoy this life. But those problems, basically your sinful reactions are not going to go. Unless until somebody practices Krishna consciousness, sinful reactions are not going to work out.
Should not do it.
Huh?
We have a problem, where solution is...
Solution is Krishna. Prabhupada said, if you clap in Kirtan, all the rekhas in your hand will change. One should have faith in this. And that has happened in the life of devotees. So many dangerous problems, like one devotee went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I was cutting sabji for Krishna. Why my finger got cut? Prabhupada said, my dear, your hand was supposed to get completely chopped off. But then Krishna saved you. Krishna reduced the punishment. So if you practice Krishna consciousness, our punishments are going to reduce. Krishna consciousness is so amazing. If somebody is performing Krishna conscious activity, that means keeping Krishna in the center, doing that activity for Krishna, he is not going to get reaction for that action. Otherwise, any action performed, reaction is there. This is what we studied last time. Yes. Right? Second thing, if you perform Krishna consciousness, not only this time you are not going to get reaction. Old reactions are also going to get washed out. That is the glory of Krishna consciousness. That is the glory of chanting the holy name of Lord. And that's why we should, those unintelligent people, Krishna is saying, they go and they get attracted towards the flowery words of Vedas to satisfy their sense enjoyment, to get the Aishwarya, to get some, Swarga, heavenly planets, and they get caught up in this particular jal. So this is a very unfortunate situation. Yes.
If we say means if we are discussing that the conclusion of Vedas is to know that Krishna is Supreme Lord and we should worship Him. But then, why if someone is following that and not attaining Krishna or not understanding the conclusion, which you gave one explanation that Vedas are like a net, it is very difficult to get out of it. But then, if there is someone who gets to the end of Vedas, who follows everything, who learns, teaches, and then comes to the conclusion, then can he not?
Yeah, once he gets the conclusion that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and he is following the process of attaining Krishna. So there are many different processes. It's not necessary, it's only Hare Krishna Mantra, only followership. There are other Vaishnava Sampradaya also, they also have a process. And if somebody is following that process in Guru Shishya Parampara properly, he has learned that knowledge properly, he has understood and is practicing, he is going to get the good results of that. These reactions are going to get reduced, he is going to attain Krishna, he is going to be free from all the anarthas, everything is going to happen. But before that, he has to reach to that conclusion. And reaching to that conclusion is most tedious. Why? It's very easy now. Like you go and tell Ambani that this particular world is full of misery. Poverty is very dangerous, hunger is so bad, he will never realize it. He will never ever realize it. Do we realize that are we really worried आज का खाना मिलेगा क्या? हम लोग का उतना है sufficient. So we don't understand the anxiety of a hunger. But then everybody has to go through the problem, everybody has to face the reaction for his action. Reaction for action means it's papa and punya both. You are going to get good results also and bad results also. So some bad results are awaiting, good result is that you are enjoying this life. It's going on. But then after those good reaction, the quota is over, then the bad thing is going to come up, anxiety is going to come up. I was very surprised when this Ambani's son, who got married, Anand Ambani, in his pre-wedding in Jamnagar, he took a mic and he said, I'm the person who is suffering the most in this world. I have everything, but then unfortunately my body is not supporting me and I cannot be happy, I cannot eat properly, I cannot go around properly, I cannot live properly, and I may die at any time. This anxiety is always there. So everybody is suffering. But then somebody's sufferings are different, somebody's sufferings are different. And we may not understand each other's suffering. So because of that, to reduce the suffering, everybody will come up with some solution. And that solution is there in Vedas. And because I am getting that particular solution, I will follow that particular.
Then we will only for our problem we'll go to the Vedas. Once we get the solution, then we'll get busy with the solution.
Yeah, whatever results we are getting, whatever good results are coming, we'll follow or we'll try to find out some other process. But then they will not reach to the conclusion. Because of these flowery words. Pushpitam Vacha. Because of these flowery words, we will get trapped.
And to do one more question. As you explained that Prabhupada says one example that DOT is finger was cut. And then Prabhupada explained that your hand was to be chopped off. But when we discuss this, in certain situations it's correct to be applied. But there are some situations in which it should not be applied. Means there might be some situations where we understand that.
Like for example,
have to take some action.
Yeah.
I'm not recollecting any example for that. But I'm just asking how to draw that line where we.
See, it's very simple. A devotee is always grateful to Krishna. We should be always grateful to Guru and Krishna. And not only that, we don't need to check what was there written in my destiny and then what all things are getting reduced. Now I'll believe Krishna. No, that should not be there. We should have a faith in the words of a Guru and Krishna and then accept. So, in what situation should we accept? If any pain comes to us, if any trouble comes to us, so how we should take the trouble? First, we should say that this is a part of my karma. Whatever past misdeeds I have done, I got the reaction for it. Second thing, we should always say that I am supposed to get more because of my sinful behavior, but then because of grace of Krishna, I am so grateful to Guru and Krishna that it is reduced. If you take this in a positive sense, it will help you a lot. And Krishna checks your surrender like that. So many situations will come in our life where we say, Krishna does not exist, he is not caring for me. And we'll go away from Krishna. So every moment or every time there will be some challenges put in our life. Check our Krishna consciousness. So our Shraddha has to increase, not reduce. That's very important. See?
But if somewhere there needs to be some work done from our side or some precautions to be taken from our side and we are not doing that and then something is happening, then in that case.
If you are following Krishna consciousness, you are taking the most, you are being the most precautious. If you are not following Krishna consciousness, if you are doing some wrong thing, something less or reducing something or not giving focusing on some part, then sometimes nowadays, unfortunately in Krishna conscious circle, mainly in Grahasthas or some brahmacharis also, they have this understanding कि अरे देशभक्ति के लिए तो हम लोग देशभक्ति क्या प्रॉब्लम है? Being what is that? What is that English word? Nationalism. Is another word. Patriotic. Being patriotic, what is the problem? They are protecting us because they are on the borders. I am here. Yes, your feelings are good. Your gratitude towards is good. Then I will also fight against these Muslims. Muslims are this, Muslims are that. So why are you being envious, sir? You are not being Krishna conscious. You are being like one devotee. We were on Bhakti station party and this devotee was also always saying, "Hey, tu Musliman hai, tu Musliman hai, tu Musliman jaise karte hai, ye Musliman." He used to, in a day, at least 100 times say Musliman. So one devotee was very innocent, small devotee. प्रभु जी, मैंने पढ़ा है कि जो हम लोग मरते वक्त स्मरण करते हैं, वो हमें याद आता है. तो आप मरते वक्त मुसलमान ही स्मरण करेंगे क्या और आपको मुसलमान जन्म मिलेगा? My God! Next moment onwards, he never uttered this word Musliman to anyone. So the point is that unfortunately we become our Kshatriya blood, me Maratha and all this kind of thing comes out and then you say yes, I'm being patriotic. There is another unfortunate situation which is happening is that devotees are saying, अरे news देखने में problem क्या है? हमको knowledge मिलता है. We will utilize that in our Krishna conscious practice. Not required. Radhanand Maharaj was giving class in 1981 in America. And he said, in the recent war of Vietnam, the Vietnam war happened in 69. Almost 12 years later, Maharaj was quoting the recent war of Vietnam. People started laughing. And Maharaj said, what happened? They said, Vietnam war happened 12 years before. You are saying recent war of Vietnam. And Maharaj was not knowing that war is over. Because when they were part of American youth, they were pushed to go into war. And that's why he was knowing that there is some war going on in Vietnam. But after that war over, everything is so normal. He did not realize because he did not went and check any newspaper. But in our devotees, news देखने में problem नहीं है, थोड़ा सा. And वो थोड़ा सा कभी नहीं होता है. News is something which will surely take 2 to 3 hours. And then once you get into your news, people say थोड़ा सा geography channel चलेगा, Jurassic Park, what is it? Discovery. थोड़ा सा Discovery चलेगा. And then after Discovery, people say थोड़े से गाने, भक्ति गीत ही है थोड़ा सा चलेगा. फिर भक्ति पूजा अर्चना सब कुछ आ जाता है. And then unfortunately people are ready to watch movies and then we watch patriotic movies. We don't watch movies which are vulgar. But we sometimes, there's something little prosy, that's okay. We watch movies which are educational. And then on the name of educational movies, we don't realize how we got into a romantic movie, how we got into a nonsense. And then after some time, once you start doing all these things, people don't realize that they are doing really nasty things. And then they say that after doing all that thing, also I practice Krishna consciousness, I am worshipping deities, I am chanting Hare Krishna, I am coming to temple, offering obeisances, I have good relations with devotees, I am a Krishna conscious devotee. No sir, you are not being Krishna conscious, you are not being careful, you are not taking precaution. All these things are going to be very harmful to you. So that's why, as you said, we have to be extremely careful in the aspects that whether I am practicing Krishna consciousness sincerely. Prabhupada said no newspaper, not required. Prabhupada said no movies, no songs, not required. Now unfortunately we have to make people sit and say, don't watch porn. You know, to people, you tell people that, movies, why are you getting attracted to? I have some friends from South India, and South Indians are crazy about Telugu movies. Telugu, Tamil, super crazy. But any movie, any South Indian movie is always houseful in South India. My friends used to tell that in a week we used to watch 20 movies.
20 movies.
And now there are brahmacharis who are not watching even a single movie. So that's the glory of Krishna consciousness. But then point is that sometimes it is tough for the devotees also, which takes place. So whatever we are, if you really want to study something, like the people have attraction towards Sambhaji Maharaj, Shivaji Maharaj, go and read their scripture, read the history, study from that particular. After studying Shivaji Maharaj's history, I don't appreciate any Shivaji Maharaj movie. I don't appreciate, I don't like any movie.
What is the conclusion you are going to make?
Huh?
What is the conclusion you are going to make by reading that?
No, if you are really interested, like Shivaji Maharaj is a king who is to be studied. Prabhupada said that he is the last Kshatriya on this planet. Good, he has actually lived a very good life. If you want to know about his history, read. If you want to know about Maharana Pratap, read. Don't speculate. And you can quote so many things, like Kalyancha Subedarachi Patni ji आहे ती ही जी बहू होती सून होती. Shivaji Maharaj said that you are like my mother. Whenever you have to teach boys or you have to teach, you can quote this example. Or if you want to quote something, being an intelligent Kshatriya, or how to use your intelligence in service of Krishna, there are so many things. Like his meeting with Tukaram Maharaj, his discussion with Ramdas Swami, nobody has discussed. Any movie has shown Ramdas Swami. Is Shivaji Maharaj's teacher. Do they focus on Tukaram Maharaj? No. They will try to show some romantic life of Shivaji Maharaj, which Shivaji Maharaj never lived. Shivaji Maharaj had 8 wives, but he had no time to live with them. But they will try to realize some romance. What nonsense. It's an insult actually of such a great man. So point is, if you want to know something, better go and read. And through reading you accept. There is actually not required, nothing is required. These scriptures are sufficient. But still, our mind is not that much Krishna conscious. We need some food to take. So you take this kind of food, this kind of intake, which will help you, which will make you connect to Varnashram, which will help you to follow some process. That's very important. But then there is no need of jumping to any conclusion. And this I will very strictly say because I am a teacher of Bhakti Shastri. Meet me personally for any other counseling. Like one devotee came to me and said that Prabhuji, वो movie देखने मेरे को. मेरा ब्रह्मचारी कैंडिडेट हो. मैं ठीक है जाओ देखो. What was that? छावा. उसको पता है. Yes. So why we came to this conclusion? So precaution is very important. Okay. So here, if you read the last few lines of the paragraph, first paragraph, Prabhupada is giving a very nice analogy about this Pushpitam Vacha. As fools are attached to the flowers of a poisonous trees without knowing the result of such attraction, unintelligent men are similarly attracted to such a heavenly opulence and the sense enjoyment thereof. So Prabhupada is giving an analogy, like there are people who are fools who get into some forest and after seeing some beautiful flower, oh there's some beautiful flower, they will not know any details of this flower, whether this is poisonous or non-poisonous or something. And they will break or something like that, then they'll get some reaction of that. Whether it's either skin disease or unconscious or something. They are fools. But an intelligent man will go and check. He'll say, क्या है, किधर से आया, कैसे आया, क्यों आया. Just because it is attractive, it's not right. So this is what is happening with unintelligent people. They find Vedas or the words of Vedas, flowery words of Vedas, very attractive. And that's why we don't need to jump to any conclusion of Vedas or any study of Vedas. If somebody is very studious, Pandit Banna hai, Sanskrit jante hain, he says, I'll read all 4 lakh verses of Vedas. Sir, you are wasting your time. You just study this 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, and rest of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, your life is successful. There is nothing else is required. Studying that thoroughly, nicely, systematically, scrutinizing is very important. Okay. Next verse. Please read the purport yourself. Next verse is very important. 44. Obstacles for the one-pointed intelligence. What is one-pointed intelligence? One-pointed intelligence in Sanskrit? One-pointed intelligence. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana.
Already something.
There is a connection. Why was the previous verse told? This is also very important. If I don't explain the connection between the verses, you should ask me. This particular verse, which is 42-44, why it is said? Because people don't remain focused. One pointed attention nahi rehta uska. And that's why it does not have one pointed attention, because he is looking after many flowery words of Vedas. That's why in the second 44 verse also, that one pointed attention will not remain. What are the obstacles? That's what Krishna is saying. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaptanam
Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaptanam
Taya Parhuta Chetasam
Taya Parhuta Chetasam
Vyavasayatmika Buddhi
Vyavasayatmika Buddhi
Samadho na Vidhiyate.
Samadho.
In the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Does it happen in our life? No, sir. We are devotees, we are sincere devotees, Govinda. So which are the obstacles Krishna is talking here? Bhoga, Aishwarya. Bhoga, Aishwarya, Prasattanam, Taya Paruta Chinsam. So he is talking about Bhoga and Aishwarya, the sense enjoyment and the material opulence. So having too much of material opulence is obstacle, sir. So, do you want that opulence? Don't run behind a beautiful lady. That's a very big obstacle. So, Bhoga and Aishwarya, both the things are biggest obstacle, Krishna is saying. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaptanam Taya Parhuta Chetasam. So this is Prasaptanam is the word for those who are attached. So Asapta, this is Prakrushta Rupena Asapta, is Prasaptanam. So when this word comes now, so many times it is translated as Prakrushta Rupena. Why that? Prakrushta, because त्याच्यामध्ये प्रखरता आहे. Because it is extreme. So Bhoga and Aishwarya, these two things are Prasaptanam, they are extreme attachment. And if somebody is extremely attached to these two things, they will never understand Krishna. They will never understand the Supreme Lord. Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaptanam Taya Parhuta Chetasam and Taya Aparhuta Chetasam. What is happening? Aparhuta Chetasam means their Chetana is going to be bewildered. Their consciousness is Aparhuta. Their consciousness is going to completely be bewildered. So, and if the consciousness is bewildered because of Bhoga and Aishwarya, if they are overly attached, then what happens? Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadho na Vidhiyate. So then one pointed attention will never remain. One pointed attention towards the Supreme Lord will never remain. So we have to remind ourselves always. When I say always, it is not once in a week for Bhakti Shastri class. It is always means every hour, every minute, every moment we have to remember. Akshay. बोल ना. हाँ. किती वाजता सर्विंग चालू करताय का तू? सर्विंग कधी चालू करणार आहे? ऐक ना, त्यांना सगळं तिकडे घेऊन जाऊ दे. सर्विंग किती वाजता चालू होणार तेवढं मला कळव फक्त. मी सांगतो काय करायचं. So Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samadho na Vidhiyate. So in the controlled mind, he will never have any controlled mind. He will be completely bewildered. Purport, Samadhi means fixed mind. Samadho na Vidhiyate. So he is not going to attain Samadhi. Samadhi, everybody understands the fixed mind. Na Vidhiyate, he is not going to attain that. So the Vedic dictionary, the Nirupi says, Samyak Adhiyate, Smina Atma Tattva, Yathatmaya. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in Samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for a person interested in material sense of enjoyment and bewildered by such a temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Easy to understand this verse?
Yes.
So which are the two obstacles?
Sense enjoyment and material.
Bhoga and Aishwarya. What happens because of that?
Our one pointed focus is not maintained and we do not get samadhi.
Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaptaram. Person becomes extremely attached. Because of his extreme attachment, what happens? Taya Parhuta Chetasam, his Chetana, his consciousness is bewildered. So when his consciousness is bewildered, then what happens? Vyavasayatinka buddhi samadhona vidhyate. His buddhi is not one pointed. This is what happens, right, when you are studying, especially you are a student. So what happens? You have taken a book, and then because there is no one pointed attention towards studying book, and then you say, पेट में दर्द हो रहा है, प्यास लग गया, खाना चाहिए, फ्रेंड्स की याद आ रही है, मम्मी नींद आ रही है, so many reasons. So what व्यवसायिक का बुद्धि समाधि विधीयते, उसका समाधि लगने ही नहीं वाला है, उसका बुद्धि one pointed रहने नहीं वाला. Similarly, Krishna consciousness also we have to be careful. These verses are very amazing verses, very much important to apply in our life at this point. Okay, verse number 43. 45. So Krishna is telling enough now. I have explained you sufficiently. Get up now. Rise yourself above all this, karma kanda, the flowery words of Vedas. Be focused. So he says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda.
Traigunya Vishaya Veda.
Traigunya Bhavarjuna.
Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna.
Nirdvando Nityasattasto.
Nirdvando Nityasattasto.
Niryoga Kshema Atmavan.
Niryoga Kshema Atmavan.
So, this particular verse, every word is very important. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto. So, this word Nitya Sattvasto is very important, which is applicable for a pure devotee or those who are in pure spiritual state. Niryogakshema Atmavan. So the Vedas deal mainly with the subset of three modes of material nature. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. So Traigunya is तीन गुण. Vishaya Veda, वेदों का वो विषय रहता है. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes of material nature. Nistraigunya, you come out of it, become transcendental. Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, you become transcendental to these three modes of material nature. Be free from all dualities. Nirdvandvo, Vandva, Nirdvandva. Dvandva मतलब आकार, निराकार. निराकार means जिसको आकार नहीं, वैसे द्वंद्व, निर्द्वंद्व और निस्त्रैगुण्य. Traigunya, Nistraigunya, that you come out of three modes of material. So, be free from all the dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So, Niryogakshema, this particular word, which says that being established in the self. Atmavan is established in itself, and this Niryogakshema is free from the ideas of gain and progress, basically free from dualities. Right? Take mic or Mir will not understand what I say.
Probably here, be free from ideas of gain and production is understandable, but established in the self means how can we be established?
Atmavan means being established in the self, that means being spiritual in consciousness. Atma is what? Self. Right? There will be some verses which Krishna will say that one should care for self. So somebody will say self means this particular beautiful body, I have to care for it. No sir, self means Atma. Or somewhere the words will come where one will kill the self. So Krishna is talking about destroying the soul. Destroying the soul in the sense not literally meaning of killing or cutting the soul, but destroying the soul means that a person will destroy the soul by not practicing Krishna consciousness. So when this word Atmavan is coming, that means you establish in the self. That means be in a spiritual consciousness. That means always be, what is the food is required to give to Krishna. Just keep on giving that food to Krishna. That is Atmavan. Discover it. काय नाव महेश को पुन्हा बोलो का सीधा फैन पर बंद करो. Okay, so we'll study this verse more. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas talk about three modes of material nature. Which are the three modes of material nature? And
Three modes of material nature.
Mihir, which are the three modes of material nature?
Kama Raja Sata.
नाही ते नाही ऐकत ते नाही
Mihir, I can't hear you. Three modes of material nature.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Govinda.
Hare Krishna.
ते नाही
चला पास झालं.
मला येते
Done with
मला
Bhakti Shastri.
येते मला बोलता
All
येत नाही
brilliant students of
मला
my
डोक्यात
Bhakti
आले
Shastri.
गुरुजी मला येत नाहीये बोलायला ते आपण ह्याच्यात असतो ना लेझीनेस मध्ये असतो इग्नोरन्स मध्ये असतो मग ते मराठीत मला
एक सांगितलं असतं.
रमागुण, रजगुण,
एक सांगितलं असतं.
सत्वगुण.
इग्नोरन्स
सत्वगुण, रजगुण, तमोगुण. सत्व, रजगुण.
ते आठवत नव्हतं मला
Goodness, passion and ignorance.
Hare Krishna.
Sattva-gun, Rajagun, Tamagun. So this whole material creation is made up of three modes of people. Where else in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is talking that this material world is active through three modes of material nature, which is the verse. This material nature is active or is working through these three modes of material nature. Okay, homework. So the Vedas talk about three modes of material nature. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, rise, get up now, and get out of these three modes of material nature. How he is saying? Where he is saying? He is saying, Naistraigunya, Bhava Arjuna, hey Arjuna, please get up, rise above these three modes of material nature, become transcendental to these three modes of material nature, and that's what is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is pure goodness. It is called transcendental goodness because it is above goodness. So many people in this world will say that सत्व गुण में रहना चाहिए, सात्विक खाना खाना चाहिए, सात्विक विचार होना चाहिए, सात्विक जगह पे जाना चाहिए, right? These are people talk. अच्छे से सो, अच्छे से उठो, सुबह ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठोगे, सत्व गुण में रहो. No sir, that is not sufficient. You have to be transcendental to this goodness also. उससे भी ऊपर उठना है. तो ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठना है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. उसमें उठ के जब करना इम्पोर्टेंट है. सात्विक खाना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, वो कृष्ण का प्रसाद खाना इम्पोर्टेंट है, विच हैज टू बी सात्विक. कृष्ण का प्रसाद मौस ऐसा चिली विली लगा के किलो किलो शुगर डाल के नहीं, वो सात्विक ही होना चाहिए जो कृष्ण एक्सेप्ट करे. खास करके कांदा लहसुन वाला कृष्ण का प्रसाद नहीं होता है, नॉनवेज कृष्ण का प्रसाद नहीं होता है, नशा कृष्ण का प्रसाद नहीं होता है, जिस पैसे नहीं मिलता. वैसे चिली भी कृष्ण का प्रसाद है.
चिली
रेड हॉट चिली इज नॉट
लिमिटेड
अपने ढंग के लिए जरूरी है, इसलिए हम लोग कृष्ण को कुछ भी लगा जाते हैं. गो टू जगन्नाथपुरी, यू गो टू नाथद्वारा, यू गो टू द्वारका, ऑल ट्रेडिशनल टेम्पल्स, देयर इज नो मिर्च. There is no green chili. They don't use green chili. The replacement of green chili is what? Black pepper.
आपल्या भगवानमध्ये असते की
That's what now.
भगवान दाल बनवतात.
ISKCON is all adjustable. Anyway, so the point is that we are not behind Sattva-guna. Like there are people who say that this is pure veg. What pure veg? We don't have to run behind any pure veg. There is no concept called pure veg in this world. Any pure veg hotel is never pure. We went to Nasik and then somebody gave us a chuda. Kondajicha chuda, Nasik mein there is a famous Kondajicha chuda, very famous in Nasik. And then some devotees they said, Guruji, ये खा सकते हैं बिना कांदा लहसुन का प्योर वाला है. Some devotees from Nasik is. And then we carried that back. We were anyways not going to take. Those devotees दिया, we couldn't say anything. We thought beggars दूसरे रास्ते में मिलेंगे दे देंगे. तो आश्रम में गए और वन ब्रह्मचारी ही saw that we were having that. तो प्रभु जी ये खा रहे हो आप? क्यों ले रहे हो? नहीं हमको नहीं ले रहे हैं. नहीं मुझे आपको नहीं खाना चाहिए. क्यों? बोले प्योर वेज बोलता है, बट इसका टेस्ट सबसे बेस्ट क्यों है? Because
Yona.
no Nirga.
What?
No Nirga. It is pure. How? बोले वो जो मछली आता है ना बारीक वाला झींगा, उसको वो लोग बॉईल करते हैं, उसका जो पानी आता है ना, वो पानी इसके ऊपर स्प्रिंकल करते हैं और उसकी वजह से इसका टेस्ट अच्छा होता है। पुणे का सबसे बेस्ट, आई विल नॉट कोट बिकॉज पुणे का बेस्ट सांबर विच इज लाइक बाय एवरीवन, आवर डिवोटीज वेंट बिकॉज इतना बलिस बना तो हमारे टेंपल में आल्सो वी वांट टू मेक समथिंग लाइक दैट। वन बेस्ट सांबर इन पुणे, बेस्ट डोसा सांबर, जैन सांबर। So devotees went and they said, हमको टेस्टिंग के लिए दे दो, हमको जानना है कैसे बना। That chef said, स्वामी जी give me 50 minutes, I wait for you। अरे बोले नहीं यही दे दो ना टेस्ट। बोले नहीं इसमें हम लोग थोड़ा सा मछली का पानी डालेंगे। Pure Jain सांबर। All pure Jains who love to eat outside are very very pure। So don't believe all this. Why reject it? So Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun, we have to rise above this. So Krishna is telling that Indian Vedas talk about these three things, teen guna. So get up, rise above these three modes of material nature. And Nirdvandvo, not only three modes of material nature, you also rise above Dvandva. Because Dvandva is something which will keep us. Which verse we have studied about Dvandva? Tell me. Which verse we studied about Dvandva?
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदा
भोग ऐश्वर्य को सकता नहीं, सॉरी नॉट भोग को सकता, स्पर्श स्पर्श, अरे मात्रा स्पर्श शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदा आगमा पायन नित्य काम स्थितिश्च स्वर। Krishna is talking about शीत उष्ण and sukha dukkha, dvandva. So there are going to be dualities always. Last Bhakti Shastri, I gave this exercise for devotees to do, to write verses about Dvandva, and they found out 40 verses about Dvandva in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is multiple times speaking about Dvandva. So Dvandva is something which is always keeping us. Like you are going for a business, so much loss and profit, so much loss and profit will be so much anxiety of loss and profit. Relationship, so much क्या मिलेगा क्या नहीं मिलेगा. So many things. Sukha Dukkha is always there. So these dualities, one has to rise above these dualities. Any other verse you remember about the dualities?
We have studied.
We have studied. We studied Bhagavad Gita many times. So we have studied. Till now we have not studied. One verse only we studied. We are going to study about the other. Anyway, so there are many dualities in this verse. So these dualities, one rise above these dualities. So rise above three modes of material nature, rise above dualities. And how will you rise above? So this particular word, Nitya, Sattva, Sto. So there are people or there are situations which are Nitya Sattva. So this Sattva is Sattva Guna. Nitya Sattva is transcendental goodness. So situate yourself in a transcendental goodness, then only you will be able to rise yourself. That's what Krishna is saying. Another thing we understand too is that there are people who are above, the pure devotees, who are situated in transcendental goodness. Take their association. If you take their association, you will be able to come out of Dvandva, and also you will be able to come out of these three modes of material. You will be able to transcend these three modes of material. So association of devotees also explained through this verse in Bible.
It is also called Shuddha Sattva.
It's called Shuddha Sattva.
Transcendental
goodness. It's called Shuddha Sattva. This Nitya Sattva is also the word. And Niryoga Kshema Atmavan, and by that you are going to be, establishing self. You will be free from anxieties. So Krishna is encouraging here by saying this word, that you can do it. Purport: the Vedas deal mostly with the fruitive activities. Third line. Vedas deal mainly with the fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from field of sense gratification to the poison on the position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and a friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is a Brahma Jigyasa or a question on the supreme transcendence. When the activities for sense gratification, namely Karma Kand, chapter are finished, then the chance of spiritual realization is offered in the form of a Upanishad, which are part of a different Vedas. As Bhagavad Gita is the part of the fifth Veda, namely Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of the transcendental life.
From Bhagavad
Huh?
from Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, from Bhagavad Gita. The Upanishads are the mark of the transcendental life. So, in the beginning there are Vedas, some Vedic texts which talks about sense gratification. But then Vedas also limit a person. Okay, sense gratification is not uparja. You come out of these three modes of material nature. And then you again come out of dvandva. Then one will start studying Upanishads. And Upanishads mainly focus about Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Like Ishopanishad is one of the Upanishads we study. And what Ishopanishad talks is about the supremacy of the Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is also talking about, Bhagavad Gita is nothing but a Gitopanishad. It talks about the supremacy of God. So it will elevate a person to a transcendental level. And then we have to situate ourselves in that transcendental level. Okay, any question? So practicing bhakti is beyond three modes of material nature. So Krishna is openly speaking on bhakti here. Only by the practice of bhakti, by the association with devotees, by chanting the holy name of Lord, we will be able to rise. Verse number 46. Knowing the purpose of Vedas. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplodod todake तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः All the purpose served by the small well can at once be served by the great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Understood?
Last line, similar.
All the purposes served by the small well can at once be served by the great reservoir. So, like there is a well, where people are going, taking water for drinking, for washing clothes and all household. But then there is a river flowing next to the well. Or if there is a big lake, they are going to get more. If there is a river flowing, they are going to get more. If there is a big dam, they are going to get much more. So the point is that a small well is going to give something little. But then if there is a big thing, it is going to give a lot of things. Similarly, all the purposes of Vedas can be served to know the purpose behind them. So you go to well and you say, what is the purpose of this well? Or you go to a big reservoir of water and you say, no, my well is only nice. I love well only. Why what is the need of this particular lake? There is no need. So you are being foolish. You are not understanding the purpose. So knowing the purpose of that thing is very important. Similarly, knowing the purpose of Vedas is most important. And what is the purpose of Vedas?
To know the supreme personality of God.
मैं कम खोया हुआ यार मेरा रात को नींद नहीं हुआ है वेदस्य सर्वे अहम एव वेद्यो conclusion of Vedas to know me, that is Krishna, supreme personality of the Godhead. So if somebody knows this particular purpose, he will understand Vedas very nice. If he does not know the purpose, he will be just be a frog in a small well. पता है frog in the small well story? Dr. Frog.
But I know the point that everything for the frog in this world is well only, but I've seen.
So if you have heard device or given device, you will understand. There is an example. There is a Dr. Frog sitting in the well. He says that there is nothing else exists in this world. And then somebody comes from the ocean and says, "अरे तुमने देखा है क्या ocean? अरे क्या ocean? इतना बड़ा है क्या?" And then he pumps it inside, and he becomes big frog. I become broke. Is your ocean this big? No, it's much bigger. And then we pump. इतना बड़ा है? इससे भी बड़ा है. Or we pump, and then we blast. So we don't have to become a Dr. Frog in a small way. We have to understand the purpose of Vedas. And the purpose of Vedas is to know Krishna. Okay, please read the purpose quickly.
The rituals and sacrifices mentioned. The rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda, division of the Vedic literatures, and meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know the God, the primeval cause of everything. So, self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's internal relationship with him. The relationship of the living entities with Krishna is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15.7. The living entities are part and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional stage of Vedic knowledge. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. Ahobhata sva papoto duriyan yajat jivare vratahe nama tuvyam te 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 kusa tapasate suva sansar arya brahmana chura nama granthi yete. O my Lord, the person who is chanting your holy name, although born of a low family like that of Chandala, is situated on the highest platform of self-realization. Such a person must have performed all kinds of penances and sacrifices according to the Vedic rituals, and studied the Vedic literatures many times after taking his part in all the holy places of pilgrimage. Such a person is considered to be the best of the Aryan family. So one must be intelligent enough to understand the purpose of the Vedas without being attached to the rituals only, and must not desire to be elevated to the heavenly kingdoms for a better quality of sense gratification. It is not possible for the common man in this age to follow all the rules and regulations of a Vedic rituals, nor it is possible to study all the Vedanta and the Upanishads thoroughly. It requires much time, energy, knowledge and resources to execute the purpose of the Vedas. This is hardly possible in this age. The best purpose of the Vedic culture is served, however, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, as recommended by Lord Chaitanya, the deliverer for all fallen souls. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by great Vedic scholar Prakashananda Saraswati why the Lord was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentiment instead of studying Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master had found him to be a great fool and thus asked him to chant the holy name of the Lord Krishna. He did so and became ecstatic like madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. And the highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of all Vedic mysticism.
So next verse. So knowing the purpose of Veda is very important, and the purpose of Veda is to know Krishna. Verse number 47 to 49 is how to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay, 47, 48 and 49, these three verses. So there is a famous verse which comes now, 2.47. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturgo ma te sangostu karmani Karmanyevadikaraste.
What is from 47 to 49?
47, 48, 49. These three verses talks about how to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. Till now we studied Sakama Karma Yoga, and we also now studied Nishkama Karma. Nishkama Karma is to free from dualities, come out of these three modes of material nature, don't consider yourself the doer, don't get attached to the fruits or don't expect the fruits. Nishkama. So that's what we studied. Now we are going to study how to practice that particular Nishkama Karma Yoga. So the first verse which talks about Karma Yoga. This is a very famous verse which is spoken by many people. बहुत सारे दुकानों में लिखा रहता है कर्म कर फल की अपेक्षा. Many people quote this. So this particular verse says कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुः मा तु संगोस्तु कर्मणि. So unfortunately this verse is half understood, not complete. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन, कर्म कर फल की अपेक्षा मत कर. बस. No sir, there is further something which is very important. That is not understood. So we will study this verse in detail. Karmanyevadikaraste, that means you have a right to perform a prescribed duty. कर्मण्येवाधिकार असते. You have अधिकार, वा अधिकार, कर्मण्येवाधिकार असते, that you have full अधिकार to perform a कर्म. आप कर्म करते रहो. So this particular word, this particular verse is what is it? Removing this particular understanding of निष्कर्म. निष्कर्म मतलब क्या है? जरा ज्ञानी है, उससे कर्म नहीं करना है, दूर भागो कर्म से, कर्म नहीं करना, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता है, और आपको कर्म करने का अधिकार है. So you have to perform action. But when you perform action, मा फलेषु कदाचन, you are not entitled to the results of that action. कर्म कर, फल की अपेक्षा मत करो. ओके, कर्म करने का अधिकार है, बट आपको उसका जो रिएक्शन है, फल, उसकी अपेक्षा नहीं करनी. You are not entitled, you are not the owner of that particular result. Next, मा कर्म फल हेतु, never consider yourself the cause of the result of your activity by desiring the result. So if you start desiring the result, you will say that ये मैंने किया है, I am the doer, मैं करता हूँ. So don't consider yourself कर्ता. This is very very important. कर्म करना है, फल की अपेक्षा नहीं करनी है, अपने आप को कर्ता भी नहीं समझना. Then what happens? माते संगस्तु अकर्मणि. Never be attached to not doing your duty by thinking that the results are not your anyways, or fearing that the results cause bondage. तो एकदम सिंपल है ना. एक मिनट. हाँ दोनों. हाँ बोलो ना. सर्विंग चालू हो गया क्या? कितना समय सर्विंग के लिए कितना समय? वही जो ये जो 15 मिनट प्रेशर आएगा ना, तो वो बड़ा जो है सब में डाल देगा, और फिर दोनों में जो दही और बड़ा, वो बड़ा और जो दही आएगा उसको वो डालना है. फिर उसके ऊपर आपको मसाला वगैरह सब डालना है. वो मसाला अलग से नहीं आना, चटनी अलग से नहीं आना. तो चटनी लेमन चटनी और ऊपर से मसाला डालने के लिए वो अलग से डालना. 1% सर्विंग 15 मिनट के लिए अपने आप को. हाँ, अगर आपको लग रहा है कि ये थोड़ा 15 मिनट की सर्विंग करना है, डाल दो.
जे त्यांच्यासोबत नाही करणार, जे दीक्षा महाराष्ट्रासोबत चालू आहे, जे दीक्षा महाराष्ट्रासोबत आहे त्यांच्यासाठी करतात.
फक्त दीक्षा घेतली त्यांच्यासाठी खाली प्रसाद, पुरणपोळी, पनीर सब्जी, चपाती, दही वडा. इथे राईस दाल स्वीट कुपन दिले माहीत आहे. आणखी काहीतरी असं आमचं तर फास्टिंग चालतं आम्हाला. वाद प्रकोप. ठीक है, मेरा कभी. हाँ, सो कर्म करने का अधिकार असता. कर्म करने का तुम्हें पूरा अधिकार है, कर्म करो. भगवान बोलो कर्म का फल का अपेक्षा मत करो. अधिकार दिया है, फल का अपेक्षा नहीं करें. ठीक है, समझा, फल का अपेक्षा नहीं करूँगा, बट एटलीस्ट बोलो यार मैं करता हूँ, मैंने किया है. कोई भी बोलेगा ना, भगवान बोले नहीं तूने नहीं किया है, यू आर नॉट द डूअर ऑफ दैट एक्टिविटी. वो बोलेगा मैं करूँ क्यों, मैं करने ही नहीं वाला, आई विल नॉट डू दिस पर्टिकुलर, व्हाई शुड आई डू. सो कृष्ण इज इमीडिएटली टेलिंग दैट माँ तू संग, तू अकर्मणि, तू अकर्मणि के पीछे नहीं लगना, निष्कर्म के पीछे नहीं लगना है. गिविंग ऑफ दैट एक्टिविटी इज रॉन्ग, यू हैव टू परफॉर्म दैट एक्टिविटी. सो इट्स सो मतलब कितना कितना निचोड़ लेंगे ऐसा बोलेंगे. बट देन वी डू दिस मेनी टाइम इन लाइफ. We go and serve somebody who is going to give some sense pleasure to us, and then we give everything to that person. मेरा नहीं है, मैं कमा के लाया, ये तुम्हारा है. और वो करने क्या तो बोलते तू कौन है, तूने क्या किया है, तूने कुछ नहीं किया, जस्ट गेट लॉस्ट. फिर भी we keep on doing work for that particular person. Similarly, Krishna is going to give that happiness to us. Krishna is the owner, Krishna is the protector, Krishna is everything for us. We have to understand. Who is Krishna? Bharata, Bhokta. He is just not Upadrishta Anumanta, he is Bharata Bhokta also. When Bhagavad Gita is speaking about Paramatma, he gives 4 adjectives to her. He is Upadrishta, Anumanta, Bharata, Bhokta. He is Upadrishta means he is observing, Anumanta is giving permission, and he is the Bharata, he is जो भरने वाला है हमारा पेट, तो पालन करता है, he is the protector, and Bhokta is the enjoyer. So Bharata Bhokta is his enjoyer also. So when we understand this particular thing, then we realize that yes, he is going to, he is an enjoyer, he is going to give me enjoyment. He is going to protect me, he is going to feed me everything. We have to have that faith. As we put faith in someone XYZ, that you know, हाँ मेरे को खाना खिलाती है, मुझे आनंद देती है, इसलिए मैं इसके लिए काम करूँगा. और जो वो जो खाना बंद कर देती है या एंजॉयमेंट बंद कर देती है, निष्कर्मा, मैं इसके लिए कुछ काम नहीं करूँगा, तो कृष्ण से नहीं ये नहीं करना है आपको। अंडरस्टूड? गेटिंग माय एग्जाम्पल? सो इसलिए कृष्ण, दिस इज व्हाट द कंप्लीट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ कर्मयोग और निष्काम कर्मयोग, और दिस इज व्हाट हाउ टू प्रैक्टिस निष्काम कर्म। फल की अपेक्षा नहीं करना है, आई एम नॉट द कॉज ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्टिविटी एंड आई कीप ऑन डूइंग दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्क फॉर प्लेजर ऑफ कृष्णा, दैट इज भक्ति। निष्कर्म डज नॉट ऐड दिस पर्टिकुलर फ्लेवर। और बोले फल की अपेक्षा, हाँ मेरा फल नहीं भगवान का है, वो भगवान कौन है बाबा? वो कृष्ण है। व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन निष्काम कर्म योग एंड भक्ति? वेरी स्मॉल थिन लाइन इज देयर। भक्ति एड्स फ्लेवर, भक्ति हैज रसा। यू नो फॉर हुम? कृष्णा। व्हाट विल आई गेट? दैट रस जो होता है ना, वो रस है। बट इधर कर्मयोग में ना वो रस नहीं रहता, एंड दैट्स व्हाई कर्मयोग इज डिफरेंट देन भक्ति। Many times निष्काम कर्मयोग is considered as buddhi yoga, is considered as bhakti yoga. But then bhakti is different because bhakti has rasa. There's conjugal love, that's why you do it. There's parental affection, that's why you do. There's active passive rasa, that's why you do. There's friendly relationship, that's why you do. Unfortunately in karma yoga this rasa is missing, which is most important. They are serving today amras. They made very tasty amras. We love amras because it has it gives the taste.
You said there's rasas there, so that's what you call Ragam. Right?
Ragam is completely different, but yeah, obviously it has rasa. It is mellow.
Sadhana Bhakti comes from Niskam Yoga, it
No,
does not have.
Sadhana Bhakti also derives rasa. That's why you are able to practice, na? Why people are not able to follow Nishkam Karma for a long time? Because they are not getting rasa. If somebody decides to follow Nishkam Karma, he'll follow for some time. After that, नहीं यार, मेरे से नहीं होता। फल भी उसको ही देने का, वो ही करता है, और मेरे को मेरे काम के ऊपर अधिकार नहीं, मेरे को नहीं डिसाइड करना है नहीं करना है, वो बोलते काम करते रहना है, क्या ये? Actually, you understand Krishna factor in that, na? It becomes bhakti. And then I am doing this for Krishna, and Krishna is giving me pleasure, Krishna is making me happy. As soon as we develop, understand that rasa, and develop that relationship, we will go on doing for eternity. वो जब समझ में आएगा ना, इटर्निटी के लिए हम लोग कृष्ण को सरेंडर हो जाए, वो समझ में आना बहुत जरूरी है। To understand that this particular activity is for the pleasure of Krishna. If you do that for Krishna, Krishna is going to give you lot of love. And that Krishna's way of giving love, understood, if you receive that love, Sakshat, when you realize that particular thing, then you surrender completely to Krishna. ये निष्काम कर्म में वो नहीं हो रहा है ना। वो व्यक्ति है किसी और को, हाँ वो मेरा नहीं है, भगवान का है, तो भगवान कौन है, कैसे है, क्या करते हैं, वो पता नहीं है ना आपको। तो भगवान बहुत प्यार देते हैं, बहुत रेसिप्रोकेट करते हैं, बहुत उसका उनके साथ रस है, अनलिमिटेड हैप्पीनेस है, वो उसको समझ में आया। तो इतना छोटा सा फैक्टर है, रेस्ट फैक्टर।
बट अल्टिमेटली इट गोज हैंड इन हैंड ना। तर आपण निष्काम कर्म योगच करतोय, पण आपल्याला ती अंडरस्टँडिंग आली, विथ अंडरस्टँडिंग ते
हम लोग निष्काम कर्म नहीं करते हैं, पहले आई टू कैरेक्टर हम लोग का सकाम कर्म, वी आर स्टिल एट द लेवल ऑफ सकाम कर्म योग।
पण जेव्हा भक्तीमध्ये येणार
Yeah, so when we reach to निष्काम कर्म, that's what I said, this is small thing like, हम लोगों को एक्टिविटी तो करना ही है, ऐसा नहीं कि हमको एक्टिविटी नहीं करना। हम एक्टिविटी करते हैं, हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं, वो क्या सोच रहा है, ये मेरा नहीं है, फल की अपेक्षा मैं नहीं करूँ। वो दूसरा क्या बोलता है कि मैं करता नहीं हूँ, तो फल की अपेक्षा नहीं करना मतलब फल किसी को तो अर्पण करना। तो वो आता है डोनेशन बॉक्स में, टेंग मतलब तो लागे जाता है मेरा नहीं है, तुम्हारा है, देंगी दे। दूसरा चीज़ क्या बोलता है कि ये तुमने ही किया, मैंने नहीं किया, तो तुम कौन है वो नहीं हो समझता है। What is the speciality of Bhakti? What I am trying to tell that Krishna being a supreme person of Godhead, who is the enjoyer, who gives enjoyment in 5 different rasas, that is not understood, and that's why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu study is very important, which will teach us about Bhakti.
Very hard to do.
Huh?
It's very hard.
What is very hard?
This
निष्काम कर्म is very tough, very dry. रस नहीं ना उसमें, उसमें ना नमक का टेस्ट है, ना मिर्च का टेस्ट है, ना स्वीट शुगर का टेस्ट है। वो रस के बिना खाना जाता नहीं ना। ऐसा ड्राई भाकरी दिया और ऐसा सब्जी दिया जिसमें नमक नहीं डाला हुआ है, और रोज वही दूधी का सब्जी दिया, क्या है नहीं चाहिए मुझे, कुछ रस नहीं आ रहा है मुझे कुछ इटालियन फ्लेवर चाहिए, कभी महाराष्ट्रियन फ्लेवर चाहिए, कभी पंजाबी फ्लेवर चाहिए। So all that is attained when you have Krishna. Okay, so this verse is my favorite verse. Karmane vadikarasте ma phareshu kadachna. So whenever somebody has to define about karma, if somebody tells you, प्रभु जी मुझे कर्मयोग क्या है बताओ, तो आपको डिफाइन करना है। क्या कर्मयोग मतलब? सिद्धांत टू एक्सपीरियंस. What is कर्मयोग?
Karma, whatever we discussed right now. Karma yoga is you should have to do your prescribed duties. You have the right to perform your prescribed duties.
Yes.
You should not accept any fruit from your duties, and you should not consider.
Not only accept, you should offer the result also.
should accept. You should offer it to the Krishna, and you should not be considered that it is happening because of I am doing. I am not doing. Do not consider yourself as a doer, and do not be attached to the I am not doing the activity. So you don't have an option of not doing that. You have to do it.
You know, interestingly, this karma yoga is taught in every religion.
Every
Religion. Like Christians, they sit for food, they pray. And what do they pray? And what was their prayer before? Oh God, please give us our daily bread. And then they thank you for giving us. You are the doer, you are the one who is giving us. So this particular consciousness is prevalent everywhere. It is there in every religion, taught in every religion. So that gratitude aspect, or the offering, they also give donations. For what? Their monasteries or their church or they do give donations. So they have this understanding. This understanding is there. But then our understanding is much higher. We know the detail for whom we are doing, what we are doing, how we are doing, all those details. They hardly know that. Okay, next verse. So please read the translation yourself. Upper put. Verse number 48. 48 verse is art of work. Suna hai sir, seminar art of work. You can give seminar of this art of work. काम करने का, कर्म करने का आर्ट क्या होता है? This topic spoken in verse number 48. योगस्थ कुरु कर्माणि संगम कृत्वा धनंजय सिद्ध सिद्धो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योगो उच्यते. Perform your duties equipoised. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such a equanimity is called yoga. So in this verse, Arjuna is called as Dhananjaya. So Arjuna is the one who is done Dhana Sanchaya. Krishna is reminding you are Dhananjaya. You earned all things not for yourself, for Yudhishthira Maharaj. Arjuna went to all different kings, and so many kings came and surrendered to Arjuna. When the Rajasuri Yajna was to be performed, Yudhishthira Maharaj had nothing. So then he told Arjuna that go and collect the coins for this. So he went everywhere. So many kings came and gave to Arjuna. Know that because Arjuna is Mahabhava, he is very powerful. So Arjuna could have thought, ये मेरा है. He could have established his kingdom somewhere else. He would have said, Yudhishthira, मैं तेरा शत्रु. तेरे लिए नहीं दूंगा. But he did not do that. He went and surrendered to Krishna. Another thing that this particular mood of Arjuna is explained in the previous verse. अपना कुछ नहीं है. वो भगवान का है. At the way Arjuna surrendered everything to Yudhishthira Maharaj, but considering that मेरा कुछ नहीं. And that's why Krishna is telling that you are Dhananjaya. You already have this quality. This particular verse which we are talking. And another thing Krishna is telling, Dhananjaya, the way you did that for Yudhishthira Maharaj, that's what you have to do for me. You have to fight this war. When you are fighting this war, you have to fight this war for me. Whatever reaction is going to come, good or bad, that's not yours. Success and failure is not yours. You come out of this bandha. That's not yours. You come out of it completely. So this one single word Dhananjaya can explain us so much. And that's what the glories of our acharyas. They explain these things. So this particular verse is saying, Yogastha Kuru Karmani, be equipoised. Equipoised means samadhi mein. स्थिर हो जाओ. Perform your equipoised duty equipoised. Whatever activities are to be performed, perform it. Focus के साथ equipoised स्थिर हो गए. Arjuna, abandoning all attachment. What do you have to do for that? To be equipoised? Abandoning all the attachment. Previous दो वर्ष पहले आपने क्या देखा? Because भोग ऐश्वर्य प्रसक्ता नाम तया परहोत चेतसा. Because of the extreme attachment to bhoga and aishwarya, the consciousness is bewildered. Now Krishna is telling the same thing again in different way. He is telling that abandoning all your attachment, give up all your attachment. Siddha siddho samo bhutva samastam yoga uchyata. And abandoning all attachment to success and failure. Such a equanimity is called yoga. So what is yoga? That you will rise above all these things. See from the top. There is called bird's eye view. You know what is bird's eye view? You go high and then observe, highlight. So you go to a top view, or you go to top, ऊपर जाके आप देखो उसको पूरा अच्छी तरह से. What is the situation? What we are doing? Why you are doing? How you are doing? And then we fight. That's what Krishna is saying. So such an equanimity is called yoga. बुद्धवा समत्वम योग उच्चते, उसको योग कहा जाता है. So attachment छोड़ दिया, abandon other attachment to success and failure. One thing is done, and second is equipoise. You become equipoise. Once we are free from attachment, we are actually doing samadhi. Because of attachment to this body, we are in trouble. And then whatever is connected to this body is not making us equipoised. Focus नहीं बनने दे. Because of attachment, there is this wife and children and relations and home and car and so many things. If I tell a Siddhanta, तेरे कार के ऊपर किसी ने पत्थर डाला, will you be equipoised? Will you be able to focus here? No. इसने पत्थर डाला, क्यों डाला? मैं इसको ये करूँगा, वो करूँगा, मेरी गाड़ी का क्या हुआ? चला गया पूरा. Why? Because I'm attached to it. Because I'm attached. So this happens with us. So many attachments. Every one of us. कृष्ण से आप अटैचमेंट को छोड़ दो. अटैचमेंट को छोड़ोगे तो आप इक्विपाइज हो जाओगे. You will be able to be focused. That's what Krishna is continuously telling. And then that is निष्काम कर्म. एक तो निष्काम कर्म बोला है, कर्म करो, अधिकारी कर्म करने का, फल की अपेक्षा मत करो, फल की अपेक्षा मत करो, उसके साथ करता नहीं है. उसके बाद कर्म करने के बाद आप इक्विपाइज हो जाओ, और इक्विपाइज होने के लिए आपको अटैचमेंट छोड़ना पड़ेगा. प्रयत्नच करू शकतो आपण, दुसरं काही करूच शकत नाही.
दिस क्वेश्चन इज, कर्म करताना त्याच्यामध्ये कष्ट टाकायचे का? डू यू शुड यू पुट एफर्ट्स?
That's what ना कृष्ण ने क्या बोला? That's what happens to us. ये कर्म कर, फल की अपेक्षा रख. एक तो मुझे फल नहीं मिला, मैं जॉब पे जा रहा हूँ, जॉब करने के बाद पैसा जो है वो कृष्ण का मेरा नहीं हो, और फिर पैसा भी नहीं है तो आप बोलोगे कि पैसा नहीं है, तो एटलीस्ट मैं बोलूँगा कि हाँ जॉब मैंने किया है. बोलते तुमने नहीं जॉब किया है, तो क्या है ना, नैराश्य आ जाता है व्यक्ति को, निराशा आ जाती है. बोले क्या है यार, तो बोले नहीं करना मेरे को काम. सेम थिंग, योर क्वेश्चन इज ऑल्सो सिमिलर. योर ऑल्सो कष्ट क्यों करना है? अपना थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर का मम्मी पापा ने बिजनेस डाल के रखा है, थोड़ा जाके ऑफिस में बैठ जाने का 2 घंटा, फिर अपना बुलेट लेके घूमने का. क्यों उधर में मेरा 10 घंटा डालू? नहीं, कृष्ण इसलिए बोल रहे हैं तुम्हारा अधिकार है और निष्कर्म में अलाउड नहीं है. वो काम से भागना अलाउड नहीं है, काम करते रहना है. मतलब उतना इंटरवल डालना है. जैसे आई ऑलवेज टेल दैट देयर आर 5 थिंग्स डिसाइड्स योर रिजल्ट. हम लोगों को रिजल्ट तो अच्छा लगता है ना, 99% आ गए प्रभु जी, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, पेड़े लो आते ना खुशी से. तो वो रिजल्ट के पहले 5 चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती. एक होता है दैव, ऊपर से अल्लाह मेहरबान तो गदा पे लग. तो दैव इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड इज मर्सी, कृपा. जाते हैं हम लोग पैर पकड़ते, आशीर्वाद दे प्रभु जी, प्रार्थना करा, उससे ना हम लोग पैर पकड़ते, कृपा मांगते. थर्ड इज कर्म, ये माथे पे जो लिखा है वही मिलने वाला. So that's how the results are decided. And the fourth is काल, the destiny. ये चांद तारे जो अलग अलग सब ग्रह तारे लगे हुए हैं, एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल चार्ट्स एंड ऑल दिस. The fifth is परिश्रम, endeavor. आपके हाथ में क्या है इसमें से?
परिश्रम.
बाकी के 4 चीजें हाथ में. काल आपके हाथ में है, कर्म आपके हाथ में है, कृपा आपके हाथ में है. कितना भी पैर पकड़ो, देने का ही नहीं उसको आशीर्वाद कैसे मिलेगा? जाएगा नहीं. और दैव, ये अगर चारों चीज़ें आपके हाथ में नहीं है, आपके हाथ में एक ही है परिश्रम, तो योर रिजल्ट्स आर गोइंग टू डिपेंड ऑन परिश्रम. सो इसलिए व्हेनेवर वी आर डूइंग वी हैव टू पुट 100%, मिनिमम 100% डालना. उसके बाद 200, 400, 500% कितना डालना है डालना, तो मिनिमम 100% हमको देना है. इसलिए क्लास में अगर हम आ रहे भक्ति शास्त्री के, तो हम लोगों को 100% देना है, तो ही अच्छा रिजल्ट आएगा, तो ही समझेगा और फिर एक्टिविटी बढ़ेगा. हाँ, फळाची अपेक्षा नाही, कृष्णाने सांगितलं म्हणून करायचं आहे. कृष्ण काय म्हणतात, रिस्पेक्टिव्हिटी केल्यानंतर मला आनंद होतो. कृष्ण काय म्हणतात, तुला काम करत राहायचं आहे, निष्कर्म अलाउड नाही आहे म्हणून मी करतो, पण करायचं म्हणून नाही करत आहे. पाटाने टाकायचे आम्ही. आपल्याला ते काम करताना सगळ्या गोष्टींमध्ये ध्यान द्यायचं. अदरवाइज विल बी नथिंग बट एनिमल्स. डॉन्कीज आर ऑल्सो रनिंग, वो भी काम कर रहा है. Oh, story, we had that story in our Marathi. I think you must have studied. There's a donkey who was used to carry salt, And then he used to go in the water river and then salt पूरा निकल जाता था, उसको अच्छा लगता था, निकल जाता. Then next day his Malik what he did, he put cotton in the water. And then he went inside and then he became boring. Monkeys are unintelligent, they don't realize. Krishna is also talking about unintelligent people who run behind follow Vedas and then try to derive something. So we don't have to be unintelligent, we have to be intelligent. If I do this particular process which Krishna has spoken, I am going to attain Krishna. I am going to attain spiritual world. इसलिए मुझे करते रहे और करते रहना मतलब 100%. हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र का माला हाथ में लिया तो उसको 100% देना है. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. ऑफिस में ऐसा क्यों बोला था, राम राम हरे हरे. आज खाने में मम्मी को क्या बोलूँ. इससे कुछ नहीं होने वाला. गिव 100%. Here हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम. Give your 100%. Okay, so Krishna is talking about yoga is equanimity by the process. तो बोलते हैं ना योग साधना से आप जो है वो शांति प्राप्त करोगे, आप जो है स्थिर हो जाओगे, आप फोकस हो जाओगे. दिस इज द वर्स. दिस इज द आर्ट ऑफ वर्क. हाउ डू यू परफॉर्म अ आर्ट एक्टिविटी कैसे करो? बाय बीइंग इक्विपॉइज्ड, बीइंग फोकस्ड. ओके, वर्स नंबर 49. So Krishna is now, after telling all these things, Krishna is telling that Krishna ने क्या बोला था कि abandon all the attachment. Similarly, Krishna is now telling that what all things to be rejected. What reject all attachment, abandoning action मतलब क्या? What is that? He is telling in verse number 40. दुरेन हि अवरम कर्म बुद्धि योग धनंजय बुद्धो शरणम इच्छम. मुझे वही याद आ रहा है, बुद्धम शरणम गच्छामि. बुद्धो शरणम इच्छम कृपणा फल हेतव. कृपणा फल हेतव is something very interesting here. Krupana is the misers. Where we studied Krupana, previous verse. In one of the previous verse, we studied about Krupana. ये पता नहीं था ना जो कितने. You know what Bhagavatam says about this? The stories are for Sudras. Stories are for women who are less intelligent.
पण रोजी यार भागवतम तर अख्खं स्टोरीच आहे.
काय लक्षात
We are not. Bhagavatam is story. Where are you, sir?
बऱ्यापैकी स्टोरीच आहे.
Bhagavad Gita is also story. We should be able to understand it. If you read the Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary, इतना मजा आता है. Krishna said this to Arjuna. Arjuna said this to Krishna. Krishna understood the meaning of Arjuna. Arjuna understood the meaning of heart of Krishna. ऐसा conversation दिया है. Every verse is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. You may see that Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, then Krishna speaks 40 verses. उस 40 verses में अर्जुना का inner meaning क्या है वो समझोगे ना, आप बोले क्या बोलता है यार. You will release it. Like it like candy. हाँ? बता रहा हूँ ना मैं.
नाही पण प्रॉपर
Proper? It is not proper.
अजून पाहिजे असं म्हणतो. अजून
We are discussing all those aspects. So, stories are for women who are less intelligent. Don't say this in your house. पिटाई हो जाएगा. In house they are most intelligent. Anyways, so Dhananjaya keep all abominable activities far distance by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So who are the misers? Verse. Karpanya dosho vahatashra bhava. What is that karpanya dosho? Is krupana, miser. Prabhupada talks about krupana there, miser. Okay. So Krishna is also talking about the misers again. Who are those misers?
Those who enjoy the fruit of their activity.
Those who are enjoying the fruits of their activities, they are called misers. Kanjus. Krupana means kanjus. Kanjus क्या करता है? वो गोरगोपाल को बोलते हैं ना. ये 3 लोग जा रहे थे एरोप्लेन से. तो एक अमेरिकन था, एक चाइनीज था और एक इंडियन था. तो अमेरिकन जो है उसके कॉफ़ी में मक्खी गिरी. अभी पता नहीं वो फ्लाइट में मक्खी कैसे आई, बट आई. मक्खी गिरी तो उसको बोले ओह टची, वी आर हाइजीनिक, उसने वो मक्खी निकाली, बाजू में फेंकी और कॉफ़ी पी। चाइनीज़ के पास चला गया, चाइनीज़ की कॉफ़ी में मक्खी गिरी,
कॉफी मक्खी पडलेली, त्यांनी काढून घेतली, पिली.
देन चाइनीज़ ने क्या किया, मक्खी और कॉफ़ी दोनों अलग किया, मक्खी पहले खाई फिर कॉफ़ी पी। और उधर इंडियन बैठा था, वो मारवाड़ी था। उसने क्या किया, मक्खी निकाली, चूस ली और फेंक दी। And that's why that monkey juice. And then we drank the coffee. Anyway, so the point is, we are misers. We also have to understand. Do I really give my results? Whatever results I get, do I give that and offer it to Krishna? Like we are taught since childhood that भगवान के सामने जाओ, हाथ जोड़ो, बोलो भगवान मुझे अच्छी बुद्धि दो, मुझे अच्छे मार्क्स दो, और फिर मार्क्स आने के बाद वापस जाना पड़ता है, वो भूल जाते हैं। Like one devotee, he is innocent. He was when he was in 12th. He said that प्रभु जी, अगर मैंने भगवान को प्रॉमिस किया, अगर मेरे को इतने मार्क्स आए 90 अबव आए तो मैं 16 माला का जॉब करूँ। उसको पता नहीं किसके साथ पंगा लिया उसने, अभी दीक्षा भी हो गया उसको। भगवान ने उसको बराबर पकड़ लिया, बट उसको वो करूँगा तो 16 माला का जॉब करूँ। बोला अगर नहीं आएंगे तो नहीं करूँगा मैं जी। Why? Because you are attached to the fruits, na? And then if you are attached to the fruits, you are called misers. If you are not, उसको आगे 90 के ऊपर और उसने 16 मार्क्स कर दिया, उसका दीक्षा हो गई। तो we should be very careful about this particular thing. That I might be miser. किसी ने आपको कंजूस कहा तो दुख लगता है। मैं तो दिलदार हूँ, दानशूर हूँ, मैं दान करने के बाद मेरा ही नंबर आता है। नहीं sir, we don't do that. We are very कंजूस. We are very holding to all those things. And the results are in different aspects. It's not only money, it's in different aspects. Am I offering it to Krishna? That's why Prabhupada before going to America, he said, आपका एक बच्चा मुझे, I'll change the whole universe. Just give me one son. Even the first disciple of Prabhupada was Indian. He said, let's give up everything and come with me. He was not ready to give up. लोग अभी like I consider myself very fortunate. My parents are very generous. They were इसको ले लो, हमें कोई problem नहीं. But then it is very difficult to give something. So results are in different forms. Like our intelligence is also our beauty, body is also. Are we exerting in Krishna service or no? या हम लोग नहीं, थोड़ा सा तो जी 6 घंटा सो नींद हुआ है, कम नींद हुआ है, कल आता हूँ. So many times we call for service and they are not ready, not comfortable. Right? You are miser, you are attached to this body. You want to care for this body. So body हो सकता है, beauty हो सकता है, intelligence हो सकता है, पैसा हो सकता है, so many things. So we should not be miser. We should be offering it to Krishna. It's very important. So Krishna is saying those who are doing that is miser. Another thing about this krupana or those who are crooked or miser is told by Krishna here is what is that? Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are Dhananjaya, you have this quality Dhananjaya. You are very generous, you are a very amazing person. So what you are supposed to do? You abandon all the abominable activities. So abominable activities means four-legged principle, abandon. Or Irsha, Dvesha, all these anarthas are abominable. You give up. Stay away from all these things. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, keep all abominable activities far distance. उसको दूर रखो, उसके नजदीक मत जाओ. By what? By devotional service. That is very important. Durena hi avaram karma. Give up all our abominable activities by buddhi yoga dhananjaya. By the practice of buddhi yoga, by the practice of devotional service. Prabhupada is translating buddhi yoga as a devotional service here. And that's why Nishkama karma yoga, buddhi yoga and bhakti yoga, they are almost similar. So many times we see Nishkama karma yoga also bhakti yoga. Or buddhi yoga is also translated as bhakti yoga. So by the practice of devotional service, keep all the abominable activities away from it. And then another important thing is, don't expect the fruits of your actions. If you do that, you are established in Nishkama Karma Yoga. You are stable, you are equipoised, you are sthira in consciousness. Both Dhanjaya keep all available activities far distant by the devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. Krishna is also so detached here. Krishna is telling here, Buddhoyo Sharanam Anvichha. So he is telling that, Sharanam Anvichha, that you surrender to Lord. इधर नहीं बोल रहा surrender to me. ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे कृष्ण. Being a Bhagavan, being a Lord also, he is not telling I am that Supreme Lord. He is very kind. He says surrender to that Supreme Lord. He is telling you also. So this is Karma Yoga. Okay, any doubt? Purport? One must actually come to understand one's constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Lord, gives up all engagements, save working in Krishna consciousness. So, those who understood that he is a servant of God, Krishna के दास है, तो वो क्या करता है? Krishna consciousness में भाग लेता है. As already explained in Buddhi Yoga means transcendental living service to the Lord. Such a devotional service is the right cause of action for the living entity. So, Krishna consciousness is the right cause. Only right action. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their own work just to feel further entangled in the material world. Except for working Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable. My God. क्या ये bomb डाल देते हो? And that's why Desha Bhakti, Rashtra Bhakti, Rajya Bhakti, news, or movies, or romance, or geography, or what is that? Not what is Jurassic, Discovery. कुछ नहीं चाहिए. These are all abominable activities. Accept करते हो? तो गाने मत सुनो, मूवी मत देखो. Abominable बोला है. Abominable क्या होता है पता है? क्या होता है? जो गटर में होता है. That's abominable. ई करते हैं जिसको हम लोग. तो we should be able to say ई कितना गंदा है, नहीं चाहिए. Like there is an example of Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya, what he says, as soon as I get the thought of sex, I feel like spitting at it. Because उनको लगता है वो sex is abominable. Similarly, all other things which are mentioned in your class. Okay. So except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. And so why you should give up? Why they are abominable? क्योंकि हमको ये जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि के चक्र में हमको बांध के रखते हैं. Is it not? If you die saying that oh मैं मराठा है, फिर आप किसी मराठा के घर में पिल्लू बन के आएंगे और उसे देखते बैठेंगे. तो आदमी का पिल्लू नहीं, कुत्ते का पिल्लू. One should therefore never desire the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of righteous which they acquire by good fortune or hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. तो हमें परिश्रम करना है, एंडेवर डालना है. जब वो एंडेवर डालना है तो उसमें एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट एंडेवर इज फॉर द प्लेजर ऑफ कृष्ण. आई एम पुटिंग एंडेवर इन माय ऑफिस सो दैट आई कैन गेट मनी. इफ आई गेट मनी आई विल एंजॉय. आई विल एंजॉय वुमन, आई विल एंजॉय food, I will enjoy this, I will enjoy that. That's not the right endeavors. Endeavors has to be put for the pleasure of Krishna. It's very important. Okay, so we stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
The 4 verses remaining of this particular section of Nishnam Karve. So कृष्णा इतना सिस्टमेटिक है भगवान. पहले उन्होंने बताया कि काम कैसे करना है, क्यों करना है. उसके बाद बताया कि निष्काम कर्म योग कैसे प्रैक्टिस करना है उसका. अभी उसको बताएंगे नेक्स्ट 4 वर्सेस में बताएंगे बेनिफिट्स ऑफ प्रैक्टिसिंग निष्काम. And then Krishna, Arjuna is remembering this particular equipoised. तो इसे वो equipoised के बारे में आपने बोला था ना, जो प्योर डिवोटी है, जो नित्य सत्व में है, वो उसके जरा हलचल मुझे बता. कैसे बैठता है, कैसे बोलता है, एंड देन वी आर गोइंग टू सी सिद्ध प्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाज विस्त सकेश.
आता येणार. आता येणार.
This is why I like the second chapter very much. जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, मोर मुकुट वंशी वाले की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय.
जय.
थैंक यू मीर प्रभु. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. हरे कृष्ण.